Now that we've taken the machine out of the box, I'm going to give you a little tour around it. But I do want to remind you that if you possibly have room for it, it's a good idea to actually keep the box in case you ever move or if you need to ship your machine for some reason or other. You could see when I unboxed it that it was very well packed. So let's go for a tour. We have our presser foot, your bobbin case area, your freehand system area, and I'll plug one of those in a little bit. When we look at the side, if you can see the little icons, there's a picture here that shows what looks like the presser foot. That gets plugged in here. The monitor here is if you have a machine that has the capability of doing embroidery, that would be able to use your software directly from your computer into the machine. The USB stick, if you have embroidery again, and if you have designs on the USB stick, this is where you would plug it in. You also can drop your feed dogs. In this case, this machine's feed dogs are right here. You push it in, and as long as that stays in, the feed dogs are down. When you push it and have it come back flush again, the feed dogs will come up when you take your first stitch. Plugging it in right here, there's only one way to plug it in. Now I would highly suggest that whenever you do not have your machine in use, that you unplug it. Who knows what's going to happen with brownouts, electrical storms, whatever. And it took me a long time to remember that I don't have to crawl under the table to unplug it. I can just unplug it directly from the machine and put the cord in front of it. Your on-off button. When you look in the back, this is for the dual feed, and you'll be seeing that later. There's a little icon that looks like the Bernina stitch regulator. That's where you're going to plug it in. These two other ones don't have any particular use at the moment. Coming back around front, I'm going to actually plug the machine in so we can see what it looks like plugged in and on. Your machine does have a cover on it, so it may look a little funny. You can certainly take that cover off so it'll look much prettier. Some of the machines have one that's right on the screen itself that makes it look like a grid, and you kind of wonder what the screen is supposed to look like. So I'm going to take it off of this one as well because it does show a little funny. That is, if I can find the corner. There, that looks a lot clearer. So when the machine boots up, you have this wonderful big screen, and looking at the different icons, your machines may have the icons in a different place, but they all do the same things. The one that looks like the little up-down arrow, the needle arrow, that's your needle up-down. The one on the top here is your pattern begin. The one that looks like a knot is your tie off. The one that looks like a triangle with a dots on the bottom, that's pattern end. All of our machines can actually be sewn without the foot pedal. When you do that, this is what your speed control is, right here on the slider. Coming down the front, this is green right now. This is where you would use the machine or the button to push if you are not going to use your foot pedal. For this machine, the next one down is the presser foot lifter. Makes it come up and down. It doesn't have a presser foot lifter on the back of the machine. It's the button in the front. Next one down that looks like scissors, that's going to cut your threads. The one that looks like a backward fish hook is actually your continuous reverse button. To take your feet off of the machine, there's a little lever on the side that you're just going to push backwards and slide the foot off. To take your needle out, that's where that tiny little screwdriver comes in handy, and you would unscrew that and take it out. To take the machine apart, to take the throat plate off, I'm going to drop the feed dogs, and there's a little bullseye on your throat plate on your upper right hand corner. Just push that down and the throat plate comes off. I've already taken the bobbin and bobbin case out, and I'm going to show you how to wind a bobbin in a minute. To clean it, the next thing we're going to do is push this off to the side. The little race cover falls down. You can pull the hook out. There are only 3 places to actually oil this machine. 1 drop right down here in the silver area. And if you look at the hook, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there are 2 little different colored dots inside the hook. You put 1 drop here, 1 drop here, and 1 drop here, and that's all the oiling these machines need. To put this back, if you look at the side of the hook, it looks like there's an opening right here. And I know you can't see it all that well here, but there's a little, I'm going to call it a mountain right here, that hole fits into. The open area right here goes to the top. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you sort of guesstimate where that little hole is going to match up in here, if I put that down, it starts it into place. And then you can put your fingers on there, wiggle it around until it pulls in on its own. There's actually a magnet on there that pulls it into place. When it's in there, it's not moving around at all. Putting it back, we're then going to take both fingers, hear that click, and I love it. So we've now cleaned this area. That's where you would clean it all out. Up in the top here, there is a place where you can actually clean out the scissors. To do that, we're going to go under Settings. We're going to go under Machine. There's something that looks like a wrench, the wrench. And then we have the brush. What's going to happen here is it's going to tell you what you want to do to clean that scissor holder, or the thread catcher is what it's called. Step 1 is to remove all of the foot, the needle, lower the feed dogs, remove the stitch plate. Now here's the tricky part. There's a green area, or pardon me, that's blue, not green. You touch that blue, and sometimes you hear a little click. I heard that beep. And then you actually touch the scissors. And that has actually changed the area right here for you to clean it out. Move down to the next one, step 3. You touch this link, and you touch this again, and it goes back into place. I'm going to put this all back together again, and we're going to wind a bobbin in just a second.